Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Gary with the Get Some podcast. And my guest this week is...
This motherfucker Gary.
What up, everybody? This is Gary Owen with the Get Some podcast. So, cat's out the bag this week. Yeah, you see it? You see it? Your boy's ruler of the jungle. So for those of you that don't know, Cincinnati Bengals, my hometown team, not doing that great right now, I got to admit. But they asked me back in May, did I want to be ruler of the jungle for this game? So before Cincinnati Bengal games start, right before kickoff, in the corner of the end zone at street level, they have this big, these fire comes out, there's these trees, there's a throne, they give you a staff, and you get the crowd fired up right before kickoff. Similar to like Seattle's got the 12th man, Pittsburgh's always got somebody waving the towel. I think the Cleveland has somebody that crushes the guitar. I don't know. Most teams have something. So the Bengals is ruler of the jungle, and they asked me to do it. So when they asked me to do it back in May, I'm like, man, this 425 game, one of the better teams in the NFC, Detroit Lions. Bengals, I thought they were going to be one of the better teams in the AFC till Burrow got hurt. Tom Brady's on the call. I'm thinking, oh my God, I got the game. I thought it was going to be like an offensive explosion. And now kind of wind's out of it because Burrow's gone. But we'll see what happens. I'm still diehard. I don't jump off the bandwagon just because we ain't doing that well. Yeah, boy. Yeah, I went to the stadium today and filmed some promos. So they gave me a bunch of swag. They gave me this hat. They gave me this hat. They gave me a Super Bowl towel. I'm like a little kid. They gave me this. It's like Christmas. It's like Christmas. They gave me this. They just went in the store and housed it. Made me my own custom jersey. So they got Bengals 44. You know what that was? That was the alimony boy. Owen 44. So they said, well, we're going to make your jersey. What number you want? I go 44. 44, baby, 4K. So anyways, I'm so excited, man. So if you're going to come down to the game, I got a big surprise. I'm going to do something I hope will end up being a special moment for an ex-player. I'll put it like that. I don't want to let the surprise out, but when they called me to do it, I called them and I said, I have an idea that could be something very cool about an ex-player that I want to honor at the game. So if it comes off, it could be a really special moment. So we'll see what happens. So I'm looking forward to it. So, you know, I'm a diehard Bengals fan, but I'm a Cincinnati guy through and through. So the running back on Detroit, you know, you got Gibbs, who's a beast, but then you got David Montgomery. And I've told this story before, but I'll tell it again just to share with you guys. So when my grandpa was in the hospital, had cancer, literally, I think it was 10 years ago. Yeah, it was 10 years ago. David Montgomery's dad was one of the guys at the hospital. I don't know if he was a nurse or orderly. I'm not sure his job title, but he was helping take care of my grandpa. So I'd always go in and I'd be talking sports with him. And he said, yo, my son plays for Mount Healthy here in Cincinnati. And I was like, oh, now Mount Healthy is the high school I went to, Talawanda. They're in the same conference. So they play each other in all sports. So when he told me it's going to Mount Healthy, I go, oh, I'm gonna go to a game next year. I'm gonna go to the Talawanda Mount Healthy game. I'll make sure I'm off on that Friday and I'm gonna go. And I end up going. And David Montgomery, who's now an NFL running back, was the quarterback the safety, the kicker, the punter, return to punts, return to kickoffs. He never came off the field. And I was like, oh, I didn't know it was that dude. So anyways, he was big. So he moved to running back at Iowa State. And then now he's running back in the NFL, was with the Bears. Now he's with the Lions. But he does an interview this week. And he said, this is his first time playing back in Cincinnati since he's been in the NFL. And, you know, got going to be a lot of friends and family in the audience. He goes, it's the first time my sister will be able to see me play in the NFL. And I guess she was in a bad car accident a couple years ago, and she's paralyzed now. So she can't travel like that. And so now she gets to go to game, watch him play, and I'm going, what? Why do these feel-good stories have to happen against the Bengals? So I look at it like this. I'm a winner either way this weekend. I love Dan Campbell. I love Amon St. Brown. Of course, I love Dave Montgomery, Cincinnati guy. And the story with his sister going to the first game, first time playing back in Cincinnati, it's just an awesome story. Now, I'm a root for the Bengals, but I hope David gets a couple touchdowns. And I hope we win. And then I hope Detroit wins the rest of their games the rest of the year. And I hope the Bengals win the rest of their games. So that's maybe, you know. When I heard that, I go, why is this got to be against us? I was like, I remember, like, God, 12 years ago, the Cowboys had somebody pass away, and they played the Bengals the next week in Cincinnati. And I was like, oh, my God. And the team was, like, dedicating the game to this guy and everything, and they had his jersey, like, on the bench. And I go, why did God play Cincinnati this week? So with David, like, how do you not root for that story? He was a great kid. He's a great guy, amazing football player. And his sister gets to see him for the first time. I mean, yeah, I want the Bengals to win, but I want his sister to be happy too. And I want to score a couple touchdowns, but still lose. I don't know. And so I'm in Dayton this weekend at the Funny Bone. All the shows are sold out, but I'm going to go to Talawanda, Oxford, Ohio. My high school's still undefeated. So I'm going to the game Friday night, and I'll probably be able to stay the first quarter. Then I got to book up the date. So I'm excited, man. We still got, now that guy Lance Cantrell, he's the fourth leading rusher in the country, but he's right on the heels of 2 and 3. One's kind of pulling away, but 2 and 3 is right there. So he could have this amazing 4-game stretch and still be the leading rusher in the entire nation for high school. But we'll see what happens. So I'm pumped. That's the beauty of high school football, man. Like, you never, ever forget your high school football days. It's funny how, if you think about it, guys that play high school football, right? There's 3 titles that never change. Mom, dad. You usually call your mom her whole life. You usually call dad your whole life. And coach. If someone's your coach, and especially football, they will always be called coach. My football coach to this day, I still call him coach. I do not call them Mr. Edwards, Mr. Krause, Doug Krause, Mel Edwards, Jay Fry, Brandon McFadden. You know, I still remember all my coaches' names, but I don't call them by their names. If I see them, what's up, coach? That's just the title you will always have. And shoot, my 2 best friends of this day are guys I played high school football with, and we weren't that good. We were all right, but me and my buddies weren't that good. But where we really bonded was just practice, 2-a-days, hanging out in the heat, just talking about, you know, our families and our plans for the future and everything like that. And it was just like such a special time in everyone's life. And man, my high school, we've had 4 players get Division I scholarships in the last 30 years. And they all went to Miami of Ohio, which is really literally right next door to the high school I went to. And that's it. So to have a team right now, 6-0, annihilating teams. The closest game was 35-10. The closest anybody's gotten to them is 25 points. I'm sorry, I'm ratting off about my high school, but I ain't been able to brag on them in a while. Let your boy brag. Let your boy brag. So, okay. 2 more things I want to talk about. One, did you guys see the Terence Crawford? He had a Terence Crawford day in Omaha, Nebraska. Now, let's be honest. There's not a lot of super athletes coming out of Omaha. Every city, every major city has their people, right? And you look out for those people. You take care of those people. So Terence Crawford beats Canelo Alvarez. They have a Terence Crawford day, a parade. Hundreds of thousands of people came out. And the chief of police is there. The mayor's there. If anybody that's anybody in Omaha was there. And then it gets a black eye because some cop pulled Terence Crawford over on the way home from the party. So he has the parade. Then they have a party. Might have had a couple parties. And Terence is driving. Terence Crawford is like Floyd Mayweather. He doesn't drink. He doesn't smoke. So if you're pulled over because you're driving erratically, could have been bumping to some music. Could have been hyped because it was his day. I don't know. But then the video we got is a cop with his gun out telling Terence to get out of the car. Everybody get out the car because they spotted a gun in the car. Now, there's rules and then there's common sense. So I don't know how you're on the police force in Omaha and you don't know who Terence Crawford is. Are you that out of touch with the community? Because the whole point of being a police officer is having your pulse of the city. You gotta know what makes a titty. You gotta know what makes your city tick, what pisses people off, what makes people happy, how to diffuse situations. You got a guy. It's his fucking day. It's Terence Crawford Day. The entire day is about him. And 1 or 2 overzealous police officers wasn't doing their job. He wasn't drunk. He wasn't high because he doesn't do any of that. Was he driving erratically? Okay. But then when you put him over, oh shit, Terence. Hey man, didn't know. Congratulations. Great job. Just slow down a little bit. You know, you're driving. You was wilding, man. I know it was a big day. You're probably excited. All right. In fact, you know what? I'm going to follow you, get you back on the highway, make sure you're good. I'm going to call it in, let all the cops know where you headed. All right. We got you. That was the protocol when it's Terence Crawford Day. I mean, oh my God. It's even if it wasn't Terence Crawford Day, it's like your team won the Super Bowl and they had the big Super Bowl parade. And then one of the players was driving home and a cop pulls him over. Oh shit. Okay. My bad. It's your day. Because here's the thing. Police officers, there's rules and then there's common sense rules. It's almost like when the Cowboys are really good. And there's this legendary story of Jimmy Johnson. There was a rookie that fell asleep in one of the meetings and he cut him from the team. And one of the reporters said, why did you cut him? He said he fell asleep in a meeting. And one of the reporters thought they got an aha moment on Jimmy Johnson. They go, well, if Emmitt Smith would have fell asleep, would you have cut him? He goes, I would have gave Emmitt Smith a pillow. Because they ain't the same. So, yeah, when it's your day, you get preferential treatment. You don't get a ticket. You don't get pulled over. And if you do get pulled over, that cop escorts your ass home. That's what you do. Thanks, Terence. Thanks for what you do for the city. Ask for a pic. I don't know. Even if you saw the gun. Terence. Okay, let's be honest. Common sense. There's a gun in the passenger seat. You think Terence Crawford was going out to shoot somebody that day? Of all days, he had a beef with somebody. He was going to handle it that day. Or his people was going to handle it that day. Really? Common sense. I don't care if you saw the gun or not. They weren't about to shoot you on Terence Crawford Day in a car with Terence Crawford. We just got to have common sense. Oh my God. That cop He's got to go. He's got to go. Or he's got to get a leave of absence or desk duty or something. But the PR hit alone, we should have never known about this traffic stop. Nobody should have known about it, ever. And even if the person in the back seat that was recording, they should have, the cop should have handled it. Hey, Terrence, can you get out of the car real quick? Hey, man, I saw the gun. Let's just put that away. And I'm going get you on your way. No big deal. I saw your girl recording. I don't want this to get out there like that. So I got you, man. That's what you should be saying. And I don't want to hear this. Well, nobody's above the law. Yeah, they are. In this situation, they are. When it's Terence Crawford Day, Terence just beat probably one of the greatest boxers of all time, just became one of the greatest boxers of all time. Now it's legit. And and the chief of police is at his party. Yeah. That guy, rules don't apply that day. And this is coming from an ex-police officer. Even though it's a Navy cop, I handled everybody different. How you reacted to me was how I was going to react to you. And yeah, if I pull over a E1, an 18-year-old that is getting a smart mouth and everything, even my initial interaction with him, I'm going to be more assertive. I'm going to be more, I am running this traffic stop. Now, if I pull over the captain of the base, I'm probably going to be a little more, all right, Captain, I know what the deal is. And, I'm going to get you on your way very shortly. But yeah, I just was like, of all days, such an embarrassment. Such an embarrassment. Yeah. What sucks about the whole thing is nobody's going to remember the parade. Nobody's going to remember it was Terence Crawford Day in Omaha. They're just going to remember the cop pulling him over. And like I said, whether there was a gun in the car or not, I guarantee you nobody was out to get somebody that day. And I don't even know, is Nebraska, is it legal to carry a gun in Nebraska? Let me see that. Is it legal to have a firearm in your car in Nebraska? Is it legal? Let's search the web. We'll see. Yes, it is generally legal to have a loaded firearm in your car in Nebraska as long as you are not a prohibited person. Nebraska has a constitutional carry law, so a permit is not required to carry a concealed handgun, or you can open carry. However, you must still follow city ordinances such as those in Omaha, which may require a permit to have a firearm in the vehicle. Again, so he probably had the gun legally, and if he didn't have it, if he didn't have the permit to carry it, again, the police officer says, put the gun in the trunk. I'm going to get you on your way. And just get the permit. All right. Congratulations. Great day. Congratulations on the parade. Congratulations on everything. We should have never known about this traffic stop at all. So everybody's not the same. Everybody's not that. We know that. So yeah, just a black eye on his day. I'm like, Hey, this podcast is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Now listen, this is really easy. All you got to do is download the app today and sign up for promo code GETSOME to score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. That's promo code GETSOME. Millions of fans have already won billions making picks on Underdog. Will you be next? Underdog. Make picks. Make money. Must be 18 years or older, 19 years or older in Alabama, Nebraska, 19 years or older in Colorado for some games, 21 years or older in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia. And present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assetsunderdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_HTML for details. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, New Jersey, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text 467-3639. So the other thing I want to talk about, so we're talking about Terence Crawford and boxing, is this Riyadh, whatever the comedy festival is around. There's a comedy festival in the Middle East right now. I think Saudi Arabia. There's comedians over there right now that I don't even know how much they're getting paid, but it has to be a lot. Everybody looks so fucking happy. Everybody's promoting it. Everybody's saying, I'm here. What is the bag? This guy, Turkey, this guy on Instagram, Turkey, he's the one that has completely like taken over boxing. All the big fights now are in the Middle East. It's a spectacle. It's a show. The guy's got more money, knows what to do with. He couldn't spend his money every day. So he's like having fun with it. And he's like, oh, boxing's a little down. I'm going to take over boxing. I love boxing. Oh, let's do a comedy festival over here. I'm going to bring in the biggest names. The guy's got Kevin Hart, Dave Chappelle, Bill Burr, Joe Coy, Russell Peters. Some are huge and some aren't as big, but it's just like, I can't imagine the budget for this week-long comedy festival. But I saw like David Cross did a whole thing on, how can these comedians go over there and they know this guy is evil and things like that. And I'm just going, I'm not into politics, and we're all guilty. We're all guilty. Listen, I'll put it like this. When I first started doing stand-up, the most money I ever made and honestly, the best promoters when I first started, when I didn't have a name, and you're just going into cities blind and you don't know if people know you, were drug dealers. And I knew they were drug dealers. They were cleaning their money through the comedy shows, but you always got paid, always in cash. They would send you a deposit and you get your flight. They always had your hotels. And I never did one of these shows where it was by myself. It was always like an ensemble show. There was like 4 or 5 comics on there and we'd be in a theater. And some would be packed and some wouldn't. But we knew what it was. So for me, I look at it different. I had a brother die of a drug overdose. It sucks, but I can't stop people from using drugs. I can't stop people from selling drugs. And this is way before my brother passed away. But looking back on those shows, I wouldn't be like, I regret it. I needed the money at the time. You know what I mean? I was a struggling comic. And all of a sudden every now and then these drug dealers would call. And they didn't call us some drug dealers. They had somebody call us and then, you want to do the show. I remember I did a run. Okay, we flew into Oklahoma City and we did Wichita, Tulsa, Lawton, and Oklahoma City. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And we had like 3 or 4 SUVs. It was me and like 4 other comics on the show. And every city we went to, the promoter would like disappear for a little bit. Or we go to like some ghetto clothing shop. This is when FUBU was hitting, Tommy Hilfiger. And we get clothes at a discount, and he'd always disappear in the back. And that's how I got wind of it. Somebody's like, he's cleaning his money out. He's doing these 4 cities just to run his money through all these 4 cities to clean it out, whether it's through these ghetto clothing stores or the show or paying us, I don't know. But they said, yeah, he's cleaning his money. That's why it was literally like 4 SUVs, and 2 of them had the comics in them, and 2 of them had just a bunch of dudes. And I was like, a lot of security for this show. Well, they was cleaning their money out. But it was a good run. I did it 3 times. I was like, most money I made at that time in my life. I'm in my early 20s, just starting out. Never ripped me off. So, I mean, to me, that's the best correlation I can give to these comics going over there in the Middle East. And I don't know if this guy Turkey is a bad guy or not. I have no idea. I don't know politics like that. But I think we're all guilty. We're all guilty. You can't. We've all worked for people that were less than I don't know, say, what do you call it? Not the best person in the world. So yeah, and if you're talking, what I'm hearing, you're talking some people are getting 7 figures minimum for these shows over there. Yeah, they're going to go, by the way. They're going to go. So you saw Terence Crawford hug that turkey guy when the fight was over. Like it was his long lost brother. And I was like, I mean, I hope they ask me. I'll go in a heartbeat next year. I'm not a political guy though. So when I saw Ali Sadiq, I go, okay, that's somebody like, okay, if Ali's going, I can see me getting a phone call next year. So yeah, I'm excited. But these comedians are like, how could you do that? Like, and then you see the amount of money they probably offered, like, oh yeah, I can see why you did that. I saw Chris D'Elia, I think on Instagram or TikTok or one of them. He was talking about it too. And I was like, and he recorded before me, but I was thinking the same thing. It's funny when you see somebody on a topic you were going to talk about, and you're like, oh, he nailed it. I'm not going to say what he said exactly because I don't want people to plagiarize him, but I was like, yeah, it's kind of what I was thinking too. Gabriel Iglesias is over there. Bill Burr, who is the king of, let me find the negative in this story. He's hyping it up like, this is one of the best experiences of my life. I was like, I can't even fathom how much they're paying these guys. Chappelle? Kevin? I'm just like, Gabriel and Russell Peters, that's probably the biggest one over there. I mean, he's been going there for 20 years. I'm like, come on now. It's so easy to, if you didn't get the invite, to be like, no, I saw Shane Gillis said he got offered, but he said no. You know, and I'm not going to knock anybody for saying no, but I can see why people say yes too. So, yeah, that was just a big ramble about nothing, honestly. But yeah, look it up. Riyadh. I don't know how to spell that. Let me look this up. Even when I find the spelling, I'm not going to know how to pronounce it. Here it is. Riyadh. Riyadh Comedy Festival. Bill Burr defends performing at Saudi Arabia's Riyadh Comedy Festival. Full list of comedians. Now listen to this fucking lineup. Now these people aren't going to be on the same show, but they're there. Okay. Moamir, Azir Ansari, Wayne Brady, Hannibal Buress, Bill Burr, Jimmy Carr, Dave Chappelle, Louis C.K., Whitney Cummings, Pete Davidson, Chris DiStefano, Ahmed Djalili, Zarna Garg. I'm sure some of these are from overseas. I'm not familiar with some. Ben Hart, Kevin Hart, Gabriel Iglesias, Jim Jeffries, G-Mon, Maj Jabroni, Jessica Curson, Joe Coy, Bobby Lee, Sebastian Maniscalco, Sam Morrell, Mark Norman, Russell Peters, Jeff Ross, Sugar Sammy, Andrew Santino, Andrew Schultz, Tom Segura, Ali Sadiq, Ari Spears, Chris Tucker, Jack Whitehall. Which comedians have refused? Shane Gillis said he turned down the invitation a significant appearance fee. Ataksu Akatsuku posted screenshots of what she said was her invite to the festival on the social media platform Threads. Mike Birbiglia and Leslie Lau responded to this and said they too have rejected the offer. Namish Patel was also slated to participate in the festival, but announced on social media he would be dropping out on ethical grounds. Mark Maron and David Cross have both come out publicly, criticized the comedians participating in the festival. Tim Dillon was originally slated to perform, but was removed from the list of performers because of jokes that he made on his podcast about slavery in Saudi Arabia. How much are comedians getting paid? Inquiring minds want to know. Official figures for how much comedians are being paid for the festival have not been released to the public. In a podcast appearance on August 30th, Dillon said that he was being paid $375,000 and other reporters have been offered as much as $1.6 million. The comedy festival begins on September 26th and will run to October 9th. So, just what I said. So let me ask you. Somebody offers you $1 million for one show. Are you going to do it? Just let me know. Even if you already have $1 million in the bank. 1 million, one show. And you know me, I'll be like, does that include an airline ticket or hotel? It don't matter how well I'm doing. I still be like, so are they gonna give me a ride from the airport to the hotel? I still ask those questions. I do. I don't care how much money I make, how well I'm doing. Is this all in, or is there more? So I'm gonna ask you. You guys can tell me. Just let me know. A less than ethical. I'll put it like this: a country with less than ethical history that maybe turn things around. You can look at it two ways. You can look at it like the past is too hurtful, too much death, too much whatever, then I'm not going to do it. Or is this a bridge for the future to show that a prominently Muslim country can bring people from all dynamics and show that Muslim people do have a sense of humor and can laugh and aren't, quote unquote, oppressed. So you can look at it two ways. Yeah, that's a lot of people. I mean, you could tell who's offered 1.6 out of that. I didn't know Aries was on it. I didn't know Ali was on it till today. So good for them. Good for them. So, because those are two guys those are YouTube. Those are guys that I look at YouTube. I'm like, okay, I can see why they got asked to go. It wasn't because of Netflix. It wasn't because of Hulu, and it wasn't because of Amazon, or it wasn't because of a TV show or movie. It was YouTube, social media. That's why they get invited over there. Yep. Honestly, gives me hope. Gives me hope. Oh, and shout out to my guy, Earthquake. Saw his interview on The Breakfast Club. If you didn't see it, watch it. He's got a Netflix special out. And I just always like Quake. I got a couple shows with him next week, and I always like just chopping it up with him, talking football. We don't even talk comedy. We talk football, life. He's just one of the good, quote unquote, OGs in the business. And to this day, if anybody asks me, who's your favorite comic, that can be varied. But the hardest I've ever seen anybody rip a crowd was Earthquake. He had this closing joke in the late 90s about a woman that had a child, and the child was a baby she had an adult baby with adult problems and adult gripes that were valid. He did this whole bit. He went on a run. When Earthquake gets on a run and the crowd starts rocking, it's hard to stop. And he's like, did you turn my pager on? Did you use my code? Da-da-da-da-da. Where's my bottle? Change my diaper. It was just like this run. And it was just like, whenever I saw him on the lineup, because when you first get to LA and you're on these ensemble shows, if you saw Quake, there was been a 6-month run. If you saw Quake, you were like, fuck. I gotta go after that. He'd be telling the host, do about 15 minutes. Let them forget about Quake real quick. The good thing is, Quake like going last. So normally he'd be at the end of the show. But every now and then, he'd be like, yo, don't bring me up right after that joke. Please don't. That one hit hard. So, if you're on Netflix, go check out Quake's special. Let me get the name of it. There's nothing worse than somebody promoting the wrong name. Even if it's by one word. Netflix. I saw it was 7 last night. I went and looked. I wanted to see if he made the top 10, so he did. Joke telling business. That's what it's called. So, yeah, watch Earthquake, joke telling business. It just came out. Let me just quadruple check. I don't want to give the wrong. Yep, joke telling business. So go watch it. All right, y'all. I'll see y'all next week. This is Gary Owen, the Get Some Podcast.
motherfucker Gary.